It's Friday, January 26th, 2024. Let's talk about the news. From the New York Times, gene therapy allows an 11-year-old boy to hear for the first time. An 11-year-old boy who was born deaf due to a mutation in a single gene has had that gene replaced using a new gene therapy technique and is now able to hear. This same rare congenital type of deafness affects around 200,000 people globally, and it's expected that more people will gain access to this treatment soon, though researchers are currently focused on making sure the therapy works as intended in younger patients before a next step goal of revising it to target other sorts of congenital deafness. The same general therapy approach is also being applied to other gene-caused conditions, and the optimistic hope is that this could someday lead to a portfolio of broad-based therapies for all sorts of disorders and debilitations, though the theory and practice of targeting the right genes and delivering the therapies are still being refined. From Reuters, global coal exports and power generation hit new highs in 2023. New data from environmental think tank Ember indicate that global coal-powered electricity generation hit a new high in 2023. And the export of thermal coal passed 1 billion metric tons for the first time, even as the deployment of renewables continues to mark new milestones. The majority of coal mining, export, and use takes place in Asia, in part because that's where coal can be mined efficiently, and in part because a lot of population growth is happening in China, Southeast Asia, and in Africa, where China in particular does a lot of business. So even though solar, wind, and nuclear power are expanding rapidly, many growing nations are still at least partially reliant on coal because of its accessibility, low price, and flexibility, especially within aging energy production infrastructure. And from The Guardian, nuclear power output expected to break global records in 2025. A new report from the International Energy Agency indicates that new reactors coming online over the next few years will make 2025 a record year for nuclear power. This parallels news that renewable sources will likely overtake coal in terms of overall power generation globally in 2025, and it's illustrative of how much money is being plowed into creating stable, reliable energy sources as the world struggles to pivot away from fossil fuels, but doesn't yet have flexible enough grids and sufficient battery storage to juggle all the intermittent electricity being produced by new and often quite large-scale solar and wind installations. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts at understandery.com.